What screams I'm educated, but not very smart. My sister is a well-respected lawyer in our city and runs her own firm. She also thought that she wouldn't get sunburned when driving her convertible because she was moving. Smart people know how much they don't know. When someone insists that there is one way to do something and won't entertain any other methods. Usually, they want to only do things the way they were taught and have spent years mastering. If you introduce a new way, even if it's better, they're intimidated because they doubt their own ability to learn it. They have learned the rote motions, but not the underlying concepts. Edit. Thank you for the gold. I used to work in a thrift store, and one time we had a customer who wanted to be let into the store 10 minutes early. We told him no, and eventually he came back when we actually opened. He then started ranting to us about how customer service should work, and how we were going to go out of business because we didn't know how to put the customer first. He went on to say that he was smarter than all of us because he went to Harvard. Bonus. When he went to check out, he was buying a teacup that was marked $5. He asked me if I could lower the price. And when I told him that all prices are final, he answered with this gem. It's always no with you, isn't it? Double quote. The college-educated stay-at-home mom who has an exciting business opportunity to tell you about that will allow you to work from home, set your own hours, and get as much out of your business as you put into it. I work for a college. We had a lady come in and get all bitchy with us because we're legally not allowed to give her details of her child's account, FERPA laws. She started saying really shitty things about how we just don't care about anything except money or something. Yo IDK. So when we still refuse to literally break the law for her, she goes, I don't need you all ganging up on me. I probably have more degrees than all of you combined. Double quote. She said she was a psychologist and thus understood privacy laws, but didn't understand that similar laws exist for education. She was a cunt. We laughed about that one for a while. They bring up their high school grades if they ever feel their intelligence is challenged. Being able to spout many facts, but being unable to follow basic logic. Me. Every day. Regretting the life decisions I have made as a fully grown man. Typing this post from my room in my mom's basement. Edit. Thanks for the positive responses. Similar stories. Good advice and wisdom, guys. Just because a few people asked, I'm 37. I work a full-time office job and pay around you a cute $300, $450 there or thereabouts, towards rent and housekeeping each month. I have lived in my own place a total of 3 times since I turned 18, but for one reason or another, finances and health mainly, I have always ended up back home again. My mother has suffered from clinical depression on and off for the past 25 years and she ended up in hospital following a suicide attempt shortly before I moved back in with her again for the final time about 4 years ago. So it was kind of mutually beneficial for both of us then. She's much better now, though. Thankfully, and I have my sister to thank for providing her with 2 wonderful grandkids to throw her energy into when she's not working. Probably the best thing I could do for myself now is to sort my finances the hell out. Cut back on the drinking and hit the damn gym. Man up basically. And who knows? I might even meet that special someone somewhere along the way. Oh. And thanks for the gold. Arguing over pedantic details instead of discussing the actual topic. For example, when you're making an argument and the other person retorts by criticizing your grammar or your exact use of a word, not a gentle correction, but as evidence that your argument is not valid because you misused a word. They never end up discussing the real argument or thought. They're usually either A, trying to prove their intelligence and doubt their ability to really discuss the topic, or B, they're easily distracted by small mistakes. Either way, an intelligent person can hone in on the underlying meaning of what someone says without getting bogged down by unimportant details. Edit. Thanks for the gold, buddy. Demanding respect for having a degree. I ain't doing very well in either category, so I don't judge. Having a good job but still living paycheck to paycheck. Financing a new car every year. Going all out on holidays too frequently. Eating out every meal. Yeah, they were educated to get the great job but not very smart to still be struggling with finances. People who think they win online debates because the other person isn't typing grammatically. People who can very artfully argue a point, but who simplify the issues involved down to the point that their conclusions are severely flawed. Sure, Karen. Bob could plant the apple he got from Suzy and see a massive return in investment over a 10-year period. The issue is that Bob hasn't eaten in 2 days and he's been given a single apple. Realistically, what the hell do you think he's going to do with it? Edit. Okay. Guess I'm learning about apple seeds today. Also, yes. I understand that my analogy did exactly what I was arguing against. That was kind of the point. Lacking basic life skills like hanging a curtain rod or swapping out an air filter. My college roommate didn't know that she had to change the oil in the car her parents gave her. Talking about your education. If you're not smart enough to avoid turning yourself into a how do you know someone's an Ivy Leaguer. Full stop. Full stop. Punchline. You're a dumbass. This is harsh, but man do I cringe every time. My friend who has a master's degree in schooling up the wazoo still pronounces specifically. Pacifically. Edit. Lol, it's not about being smarter. Or being more intelligent to know the difference. It's going through all that schooling to still come out and pronounce these words wrong. I remember when my grandparents corrected me when I said supposedly, and I had to actively be aware every time I said that word until it became natural to say supposedly. Some people either don't care or are a product of repetition. Over-reliance on classical economics. Yes, it works in your small-scale diagram, but there are more than 3 factors to consider. People who would rather point out you're being wrong about something than help them understand it the correct way. I had it explained to me once in a way that really clicked. Don't tell someone they're wrong. Show them why you're right. Double quote. My 4.00 in high school and college sister managing to drive our shared car on low gear for an entire month. Never once looked at the center console to see that it was on L and not D. Simply looking down on others. Treating less educated but otherwise intelligent people as somehow lesser beings. Also treating unintelligent people badly. Smartness can't be fixed or changed. But being an asshole can. People that need to constantly show you and everyone else how smart they are despite not realizing that everyone dislikes it when they do so. Actually, I understand that herd immunity is important. Especially for immunosuppressed people. But my first and only obligation is to my child, so I don't vaccinate. Double quote. My boss. Ladies and gentlemen. Extremely dense and jargon heavy writing that's completely incoherent because it's terribly organized and has terrible sentence structure. I work in corrections. State level. A coworker with a BS in criminal justice recently asked me if an inmate committed a felony. Then why are they in state institution instead of a federal one? My response. Probably because it was a state law they violated. Double quote. A degree from the University of Phoenix. I worked with a person once who had a master's degree from U of P. And she was dumb as a bag of rocks. A recruiter who worked with me told me that she disqualifies applicants with degrees from U of P. Yes. You are intelligent. Well paid. And are the boss. It is still not smart to antagonize dozens of contractors who are bigger than you. And carrying large pieces of blunt metal. They're probably not going to murder you. But some common f-king sense might save you here on the off chance someone's done giving a fuck. People conflating not knowing one specific thing that I know or not good at this one thing that I happen to be good at with not being very smart. Edit. Punctuation. Paying too much money to live a lifestyle they think they deserve based on education. Rather than the lifestyle they can currently afford. Anyone who has a degree but has little knowledge about the degree that they actually have outside of what they have been taught. They think a college degree automatically makes them smarter than those who don't have one. Anti-vax wealthy white women. Idiotic Whole Foods shopping yoga moms who think that Jenny McCarthy and the internet is better than decades of medical science. Fear of GMOs. Not eating gluten by choice instead of an actual condition. If you are educated, you can use an extensive polysyllabic vocabulary with acronyms and job-specific terminology. If you choose to use it with people who you know have less education, you are not smart. You are a douchebag. Knowing about logical fallacies and what constitutes a logical fallacy, but not understanding that meeting the criteria of a logical fallacy does not immediately invalidate an argument. Had a fellow teacher state I didn't understand dyslexia. Replied I was dyslexic, so I had a bit of an idea what it was like suffering without knowing why. She said it wasn't a competition. No. It's my life. Being rude, trashy, disrespectful or the such. I've met too many professionals that are obviously very intelligent on paper but are completely oblivious of their treatment of others or their general lack of social awareness. Their defense is usually, I don't care. I do what I want, but from experience interacting with these people I can just tell they lack the mental capacity to truly grasp the consequences of their actions. I'm an engineer. Double quote. Mind you, many engineers are indeed far smarter than I am. And some are really good. But when a work instruction log sheet has gone from simple to implement easy to use 1 page to a 40-page document to be filled out hourly, there is probably an engineer involved. Also, your associate's degree in machine programming doesn't trump the CFO's master's degree in corporate finance when discussing a money issue. Yes, I witnessed the low-level programming engineer argue with the CFO that he knew better because he had a degree. Blind trust in authority. Smart enough to understand and use the structures. Dumb enough to trust them. Not adjusting the way you speak for the person you're speaking to. It's less about catering to them and more about knowing how to relate and endear yourself to others. Or at the very least not come off as pretentious. People pulling the please address me as Dr. X bit in situations far away from the workplace or where it even matters in the slightest. Semicolons. Kurt Vonnegut. Here is a lesson in creative writing. First rule. Do not use semicolons. They are transvestite hermaphrodites representing absolutely nothing. All they do is show you've been to college. Using obscure words incorrectly. You've gotten far enough along in your education that you've been exposed to this word. But you don't actually know what it means and won't let that stop you from inserting it into your vocabulary. Being a world-renowned brain surgeon but not fully understanding how bad slavery was. Literally anyone who tells me my opinion is worthless because I didn't graduate from college like they did. I'm sorry I didn't graduate. My dad died and I haven't been emotionally stable enough to go back. A lot of my customers are in the tech industry and incredibly intelligent when it comes to computers. But on a constant basis I get asked, what do you mean by change my engine oil? Double quote. Brand whoring. Slavish loyalty to Mercedes-Benz, Bentley, Apple, Bose, and a dozen other premium brands that are just coasting on image at this point. Waiting for the inevitable shitstorm that will come from putting Apple on that list. Close bracket. Using a lot of complicated or big words when it's clear the person they are speaking to don't understand them, and b, it's obvious it's not their natural way of speaking. I try to be careful with this one because it's very situation based. A lot of undereducated people will accuse others of trying to sound smart when it's just that some people have a larger vocabulary. We actually have a word for that in German. Fach'idiot. Hard to translate. Maybe subject idiot. Though Fach means more than subject. More like a field of study, and in this case it also means you are an expert in something. That is the thing about fach'idioten though. They are highly competent in their respective area. But entirely useless for everything else. At universities you'll find a lot of them. using unnecessarily complex language, being verbose for no other reason than you can. Language is about communication. Those who use it as a tool to impress people in my experience aren't that sharp. Worked in a call center for a well-known networking equipment manufacturer. Had a lady call in once with some fairly common issues. As usual, I started with the basics. Are the cables plugged in correctly? Everything has power? Blah blah blah. She starts getting irate with me. I have a PhD in computer science. I know how to plug routers in. Goes off for a minute and hangs up. About 10 minutes later I get a call. And it's her again, which is super rare in a call center of 150 plus people. She is completely apologetic and had found that she plugged the cables in wrong. She completely owned up to being a BTCH about it and was great after that. If you're not able to explain a concept simply and without using exclusive terms or jargon, then it probably means that you're reciting what you've learned from memory and you haven't been able to decipher it and come up with your own interpretation. I know a girl who had a 4.1 GPA in high school. Graduated top of our class. Went on to a pretty good college to earn her degree in roughly 3 years. Now she's working on a master's degree. She doesn't believe dinosaurs existed. When people rudely interrupt in order to correct something or show how much they know. I've always valued people with proper social graces over people who, while knowledgeable, are unable to communicate effectively or politely. I have a PhD in neuroscience. But we're a non-vaccinating family. Double quote. My favorite book is The Great Gatsby, aka the only book you remember being forced to read in school. A woman got hired at the company I work for. Just completed her undergrad in marketing. She is constantly spouting off her ideas of ways the company could improve. On top of this, she's not very teachable at all and isn't very good at her job. Social skills are minimal. Talks extra loud with a whiny tone. Complains a lot. Girlfriend. Just sit down and work and be quiet for like 6 months before you go on suggesting how you hold the secrets to making the company rich. There's something to be said for earning credibility via actually working.